So you want to farm your nether trees? Well, have I got a deal for you. It involves TNT dupers, flying TNT, and this little bit right here below me, that's the heart of our machine. This is the complicated bit, all done and dusted, that makes this one right here behind me that I call the tree hugger work. Um, you'll see that there's another substantially larger farm over there. I call that the Devil's Woodchuck. And it is a fantastic and glorious thing. But at the same time, um, this one here is actually substantially better for a handful of reasons. Let's see, and we just missed it as I was refilling. Running a little bit of a test here, but you'll see it'll grow a tree, it'll TNT a tree, our items get collected, and the tree hugger dances. Oh yes, so glorious. We get another tree, and lather, rinse, and repeat. And you'll see I'm not inputting anything, and this is not creative magic. This will work in your vanilla survival world. Um, and pretty much any server you play on, with the exception maybe of your TNT dupers, because it is disabled on some servers. However, I do have something you can put in place of that I will show you at the end of the video. But you can see I am harvesting almost the entire tree, if not all of it, pretty much every single time. So that little guy right there is all of the redstone that goes underneath this platform. Other than that, there's just a little bit of repeater timing magic we'll talk about that will cover the rest of the farm. That is the same as this guy over here. I've just got it color coordinated for the different circuits so we can talk about what they do, how they do it, why they do it, all of those good and fantastic things. But anyway, with that, let's get cracking, shall we? All right, so I've got two farms here. They work under basically the same premise. However, looks like I still got a schematic loaded up. Let's boop, boop, get rid of that. All right, so they work on basically the same premise. This one is substantially simpler. All right. So what happens? We flip our switch. It goes through a process. It punches out our stuff until we get a warped fungus in this case. It could be a crimson fungus if I swap out my warp nylium for crimson. There we go. It turns off the system temporarily. It launches TNT. I blow up my tree. I collect it. And then the tree hugger here, as I have decided to call it, does the happy dance. Let's watch that through one more cycle. Maybe we'll get a bigger tree so that he can dance properly. That was pretty pathetic. And we'll watch it up here too. Let's see. This part always feels like it takes forever. Oh, come on. I know you're working. I know you're working. There we go. Okay, bigger tree. TNT 1. Bam. TNT 2. Bam. And as you can see, I collected most of the tree that I could get that way, right? And all my items magically get collected right there. Now, there are a lot of improvements that I can actually make to this, such as instead of these mass TNT launchers, I could put a drop chamber above that would drop in time TNT, but the building of that is more complicated. What I wanted here was a simple, efficient farm. This thing's not like stupid impressive. Well, I didn't think it was until I watched Del Mango's video, actually. For the simplicity of this farm, it is the most overpowered farm that you can possibly have. I did that on accident. I was actually going for cool factor here. As best I can figure, this gets you somewhere in the ballpark of about 13 stacks of your stem every hour. And let me... Oops. Man, I am having a day with the buttons. Probably, yeah, right about two stacks, maybe a stack, two stacks of your more desired shroom light. It's not actually more desired. Well, it depends on what you're doing, right? But it's another neat lighting source, and this is by far your easiest renewable source of light, where no crafting's involved in all of that. And as you can see, boom, all of that. Now, this one I personally would call better. This one's cooler. I call this the Devil's Woodchuck, and you'll see why. Oh, both of these work with both the Crimson and the Warped. All right, so we turned it on. It started its cycle, and all right, it's definitely functioning now. We can grow trees, and I've got this set up two of each right now, though it can be swapped out for whatever your needs are. So boom, boom, boom. There's our 4 trees, and now TNT cycle, 1 launch, 2 launch. So I blow up the middle, I collect my items, and then I blow up the exterior. And this once again collects most of the tree most of the time. Um, I'm looking for some cool pixel art to put in this space down here. So that's definitely going to be on the agenda. I think this one's cooler. However, you'll notice that 99% of the time I grow 4 trees every time this goes, and weird. I'm not sure why that particular layer didn't blow up. Sometimes it's a density thing, but I would say building 4 of the little guys is actually better from an efficiency standpoint. Because of the way I've latched this in, I have to deal with the RNG of getting my mushroom or my fungus, for the proper term, every single time on every single module. So while those 2 trees in the back could be blowing up right now, these 2 are, oh no, just 1 now, having a heck of a time getting the fungus it needs. Let's see. Come on, guy. See, there we go. And we got the one we needed. We grew. And we blast. Boom. And it seemed like, for some reason, this one didn't want to grow. I think that was twice in a row now. Okay. He got his. Okay. Just a weird fluke of timing. I am running the clock on this really fast compared to what I probably should, experimenting with timings. But anyway, we will get to building the tree hugger. And just because it's a bit more complicated and I don't want to miss steps and all of that, I am going to be using a schematic file through all of this. Okay, I changed my mind. We're going to do this without the schematic. I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what? Kind of a pain in the butt. So we'll build this guy up in the air. All right. Now, we're going to start from the core, which is our nylium block. And we need to put down a couple of things, right? So the heart of this system is a dispenser that faces over the nylium block, like this, and a dispenser that faces into the nylium block. There we go. Let's F3 that, make sure he's pointing up. He is. And you can obviously just use some temporary blocks to get that aligned the way that you need it. All right. And in order to fuel this thing, we can come over here. We'll see that I did something kind of odd. I have a dispenser that is going, or I'm sorry, a dropper that's going into my dispenser, and then I'm feeding the bottom one with hoppers. And I'll explain why once we get to our smart tree detection system, right? So like that, and then we want our dropper. We'll worry about how to feed this from the outside once we get this bit going. Now, in order to power this, I'm going to use observers, right? And we'll put one here, 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 and they are going to be, boom, the power source. So these things are now going to be firing. If I go and, well, actually, no, let's not do that. I was going to say if I put bone meal in here, but then it'll start growing trees and they'll get in our way. But they're going to be our control system for dispensing our bone meal. And what I did is I just did a nice simple L shape, and we're going to go ahead and set up a piston down here that can raise and lower them. Actually, I want that one lower. There we go. So that when it's turned on, it is in the up position. Actually, let's do this with wool. Let's do some green here. And we'll separate out our parts of our system so that you can follow along better. All right. Now, the thing that makes this thing work, let's pick another wool color, is actually going to be a comparator system that goes right here. Now, if you've watched my video on comparators, you don't need this explanation. If this explanation doesn't make sense, go watch my video on comparators. Is going to be the short and sweet of it. But that comparator that's got the light on right now is in subtract mode. The one that's facing the other way is going to look into something. In this case, I'm going to use a barrel. But barrel and chest is interchangeable. The important thing is I need this to emit a signal strength of 14. Okay. Bam. So it's emitting 14. So if I put down a redstone dust here, because we're in subtract mode, you can see, oh, wait. Okay, when that's full, it'll emit a signal strength 1 because it'll see 15 when that's full, right? And this is the heart of our system. And this is what's going to tell the machine as a whole what's going on. Now let's see, it's a little crowded over here, but you can see I literally just have a block underneath of it that goes into a sticky piston. All right, so we come out with our block and we go down with our sticky piston, and then we'll put redstone dust on top of that. All right, and this is our smart control system, mostly done less an observer. All right, now this observer will be extended most of the time until this guy uses a bone meal. When it uses a bone meal, he'll retract, right? So I'm going to want a line coming off of him that will come around. All right, so boom, we got that. Now for my planting system, I'm going to use a regular piston. Oops, nylium. All right. All right. And he's going to go there like that. And I'm going to feed him off of a clock. We'll talk about the timings on it and why it's set up the way that it is here in a minute. But you can see a total of 5 repeaters right here. And let's get another color of wool for that. Let's do orange. I am going to need him in a minute, right? But anyway, we're going to come down. And where's my repeaters? All right, so I want a repeater going in here. And this is where my observer with a sticky block is going to go. And just for the sake of not forgetting it, I'm actually going to add another one right here. This controls this system. This is going to control our TNT duplicators. All right. And we'll get into the why of that here in a little bit. All right. Oops. All right. So this is the forward position, and this will be with our clock on. Now, when you set up a clock like this, You need to have it so that your repeaters go in to this guy here. And you just need, boom, with a redstone dust right here. And then we need some redstone dust right here. We're going to set this all the way to the max. I've done some experimenting. 12 ticks is your absolute minimum. This is a total of 16 ticks. I find that it's more reliable personally. But this is going to be our control system all done. And we'll just demonstrate it for a moment. Right? So it'll go boop. It'll turn on this clock, which will then start pushing this piston. This piston's going to break whatever's on top of our nylium, right? And let's go ahead and put another nylium right here. And I'm going to cover that actually specifically with a glass block. Reason being, if something stays on top of this nylium too long, it can change it into regular netherrack. But if I have another nylium next to it, when I dispense into it, it'll recover it. One thing that will not destroy your nylium block is glass. So that can sit there forever and we're perfect. So let's go ahead and, oh, right. That's why I had the janky out by one. See, this is why I was going to use the schematic. I knew it was there even. All right. Boom. Boom. That's why I had the janky redstone dust thing going on. Bam, bam. And our redstone dust. There we go. And then we'll put him here and him here. All right. So now that we've got this bit set up, what I want to do is set up my control right here, which will come up. Let's see. Oh, no. I want that there. I want a repeater here. Space constraints. The other way would work if I had a little bit more space. Boom. And then our redstone dust. Bam. Now at this point, let's go ahead and fill up the system. I'm going to have to destroy a tree, but that's fine. All right. Where is our bone meal? Boom. 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 Come on, guy. Yeah, there you go. All right, now we're all full up. Now we got this guy going on. Where's my? Let's just use a button to give ourselves a 1 tick pulse. All right, so this will go forward, and now this piston will start doing its thing until a tree grows. And then you'll see when the tree grew, this happened really fast, and it retracted this. All right. And that retraction is super important because that turns it off. And we pushed our block out because it happened fast enough that it got dispensed. That push out is actually the reason I say a 16 tick clock. If your piston's going too fast, you end up breaking your fungus before it actually grows. 16 is about the fastest that I've seen it reliably grow every time. So we've got that. All right. So now that we've got all this, this is the literal heart of our system. All right. After this, it's actually a matter of putting in our collection system and our moving system. And I don't like you, go away. All right. our fueling system, and then our triggering system for our TNT. Right? So it seems like a lot, but it's really not. Okay, so where are we going to start? We're going to start with our collection system. Now, that tree can grow up to 7 by 7. So I'm actually going to put a row of hoppers up here. And from my center, you can actually see it over here. This is my genuine center right there. I've come out 1, 2, 3, 4 in every direction. So we're going to make a total of a 9 by 9 square for the collection system. All right, so there's 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where our last hopper is going to go. And you can see it literally is in line with my water there. All right, and that's going to go into droppers. All right. And this is honestly mostly a fun thing. You could literally just run a hopper line here if you wanted. So 4 out in that direction and 4 out in that direction. But having him dance is worth every bit of this extra. All right. So once we've come out from our center 4 blocks, and then place these, we're going to put down our hoppers, right? And we'll come from the center one just to make sure we did this right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I count wrong? Because that's my genuine center and a 5th. Did I put those droppers in the wrong place? 1, 2, 3, 4. I sure did. uh, so 1, 2, 3, 4. No, yes, I did. Okay, hold on. All right. And I definitely recommend building your platform after this bit's assembled. The rest of it, it's still kind of tight quarters, but it's not bad at all, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Oh, no, one more. 4 from the center. So that should be a total of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? And we're going to come back from every single dropper the same way. And in some ways, well, in survival, this is going to be easier to do the bottom first. All right. In creative, it's actually easier to build this top bit first. Funny how that happens sometimes. All right. And boom, 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 boom. All right. And once we have this, we're going to rim it with non-explosive blocks, not counting like TNT, perfect tick timing, explosions, and stuff. What most people are going to have a lot more access to than your others is going to be your obsidian. So we'll go ahead and we'll line this whole thing with obsidian. So this should make an 11 by 11 square around the outside. All right. And then we want to take whatever our slab of choice is. Since we're doing nether trees, let's stick to a nether themed slab. Let's do our red nether brick and some warped, right? The colors here don't matter. However, since this is, in fact, as I have called it, the tree hugger, he has to have a patented smile because he is so gleefully doing this. Right? And then he needs a nose. We could no, let's go low. We could center the nose, but that's whatever. And then we give him some eyes. Boop 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 boop. Oh, he's so happy, right? Bam. So now we have our patented smiley face. Uh, you know, I'm not sure who patented it, but that's what I'm going with. Now we want to waterlog our stairs, or I mean our slabs, right? The good thing about slabs and waterlogging them, you just have to waterlog two edges. If you're dealing with, perfect squares and stuff, they will waterlog the same way, or they'll water source the same way as an open block will. So we now have that done and dusted. Now here I'm going to use glass. And we're at the front next to our droppers. And I'm going to set up a collection system. So I want to come down by 3, and then I want to put glass in front of, behind, and next to this entire guy right here. Depending on how you decide to play, you can put in your water like so. At this point, it's not going to damage any of our system. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. All right, so 4 from the center, and that'll be our good thing. We can come with a sign. Bam, and bam. Put him in the center. Then we come back, come down by 1. And I'm not going to put the full collection system on this. That part's pretty self-explanatory for most people. We'll just do this, and we'll shoot all of our items off into space there. All right, put our water in. This is what you get for not counting blocks. There you go. Right? So that takes care of that bit. Now I want to come with some comparators. And this is why he dances. We put a comparator in front of every single one of these downward facing droppers. Okay. And we need observers and sticky pistons now. Let's see. Our observers, in fact, I'll show you this over here, are going to face into our block that's above our dispenser. They're far enough away from the TNT that you don't have to worry about them. Right. Now, this part can be a little tricky. What I would probably do in survival, weird visual glitches, is come out by 2 and then place this first one so that you got your clock running. Boom, boom, boom. And back here, since I'm in creative, we'll come across, man, those visual glitches are weird right now. And we'll just boop, 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 which will allow us to align it. This is going to be where our sticky pistons go. So this is the block underneath the comparator. So our glass right there, right? And then we come in and observers right there. And that creates our observer smart detector. If there's anything in it, that'll make the observer jump, start a clock. It'll power this block, powers our dropper, which shoots our items out. All right. So now that we have that, we need a way to turn this on and trigger our TNT. Let's see. Oh, old remnants from having constructed this guy. So really, got that. We got our TNT dupes. In fact, let me turn this off. I'll show you the measurements for the TNT dupes. One caveat I recommend personally, turning this off after it grows something or a mushroom's detected. Otherwise, this clock will stay on. It's not a big deal. It's just, mildly annoying. But anyway, let's get something with a good outline on it so we can do some measuring. Diamond block has a good one. Oh, you know what? Smooth stone. All right. Boom. All right. So our TNT platforms are going to sit centered here. And to get our measurements, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 back, then 1, 2, and that third one up for it. And this is 3 wide, this is 3 wide, right? So we'll come over here, we'll find our center, which in this case is just above his nose, and we'll come in 1, 2, and 1. And then we can measure this out with the item that I just threw back in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and up 2, 3, right? And that'll be the front of our TNT dupe. This back bit is very important. It is what makes my TNT shoot straight. Otherwise, it'll be to the left and right all the time. It won't land consistently, right? And now for this bit, I'm going to show you how to build one of these dupers. And then after that, I'm going to copy and paste it into the world for the sake of speed on this tutorial, right? So we actually want to, oh wait, which side am I aligned on? This side, right? So we're going to come up by 2 and down by 1. We're going to have slime here where we're going to need a detector rail and a minecart. Bam, bam. And then our piston's going to go here facing into it. And I'm kind of all over the place on this, aren't I? All right. An observer that is pointing into him, right? And what fires this? I'll show this off when we go fire the machine back up over there again. Is a thing that my brain is not fully functioning out. You know what? I built that one part too far to the side, didn't I? No? No, I did that right. All right. All right. Now we need a fence. We need a fan coral. Which one of these doesn't matter, but you do have to have a dead fan coral. Slime blocks, TNT. All right. So we'll come off of this by 1, and this is going to come down and out, I believe. Hold on. Why is my brain really not processing this? Because it doesn't do that. You know, I've built a million of these duplicators and I still have to think about it. So fence is going to connect these two halves. And then TNT goes down low, fan coral in front of him. All right. So we've got this. You can duplicate TNT and drop it if you remove these 2 blocks. These 2 in particular just allow it to shoot. Now what's going to happen is this is going to push forward. These slime blocks here are not going to move with this fence. So it's going to push these back 2 slime blocks into this, which will then attach this block in that block, right? And then all of that. So we'll watch it. You can activate it like this, puts it forward, pulls it back. Now, when I put something there again, boom, TNT, right? Boom, TNT. And that's how this whole thing works. Now, like I said, I'm not going to build all the way up on this. I've already got a tree bomb. There we go. Let's see. Let's orient our schematic. Configure, rotation. Yeah, like that. All right. But this would be way more time consuming if I built every last one of these straight up. So you can see the duplicator we already put in is right there. So let's go ahead and paste the whole duplicator in the world. Minecart from the one that we just had there. There we go. So we got this. Now, as far as our control system is concerned, where our observer was that we just did, we want a block below him and in front of him attached to a column of slime. And this is going to, when we fire off the system, send this up, and he's going to see an update, and it's going to pull it back down, see a second update, so we're going to get a push-pull, okay? And to wire this up, I've got half slabs just going back and forth all the way up to give us this stair step till I get to the next one. Because of the length of my signal and this being taller than 15 blocks, I put in a repeater here, and boom, right? So we've got that guy in place. Now, as far as how I'm firing this, okay, and this is where things are going to get semi-slick because I'm using the same system to time both of these. This back observer, when he gets pulled down, I've got him firing into redstone lines. And actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and paste this other one in before I forget about it. Configure, rotate, bam. Let's see. Is that my center? Yes, it is. And paste. And you know what? I'm an idiot. I pasted that one too far back. uh, Here we go. Let's see if I can paste this without blowing it up. There we go. So not a big deal. Only thing, come in, clean up this junk from the pasting process. Oh, we can see this whole thing work together now. If I power one way, it does one thing, and then it launches, and there go all of the carts from the first duplicator. Thankfully, that did not blow up. So we can do it again, boom. And you see I've got it timed so that it all fires at the same time. We're going to get rid of that temporary control though. And let's go ahead and get rid of these blocks. They're unnecessary and they actually lower your yield slightly. All right, so we'll see over here, and I'm going to set this up the same way, with one caveat. I'm doing a straight line instead of this curvy one. Anyway, but I've got a whole bunch of repeaters here that come over to this observer, which then comes up and goes to this dust, right? So that dust is right here, and I need my observers. All right, and I don't know what the count on this particular bit is, but we just need it long enough to come over and reach all of this. Let's see. Should be here, I believe. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Boop, right there. Now that bottom one's not required. There we go. Once we got our tower, we put in some redstone dust. All right. Now the reason for these repeaters right here, let's see, this bottom line, is they're going to come back and they're going to give us a delay so we get one side shooting then the other. That gives us a higher yield overall. And let's see, I want a one tick. Ooh, I can put it right here. All right, boom, 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 boom. Repeater goes in here, and do I have my redstone dust on right now? I do. I want to take him off for just a moment. Uh-huh, uh-huh. All right. So let's see, where is from there? Boom. Now repeaters. I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All set to 4 ticks. All right, and then I can redstone dust the rest of this. Bam. All right, so let's get out our lever here, and we'll go ahead and run this, at least this part. So test as we go. See, we grew a tree. Now we got a pulse coming out here, which will go in, and I didn't put in the dust. Darn it! All right. Try 2, electric boogaloo. All right. There we go. Grew it. We got our signal. Comes through here, goes up the observer line, and that should have fired all of these. Oh, right. The way it was copied into the world. All right, third time's the charm. I promise. Comes back, does a thing, pushes and pulls back. And perfectly timed TNT. Bam. All right. So we're going to wire up this other side basically the same way for the most part, with a slight exception. All right. Now you'll see that I've got redstone dust here and here. So in this spot, I want repeaters. They don't have to be set to any tick. And then we're going to mostly dust our way up from here until we get back to roughly here. Let's boop you out, get our observer. Oh, and you can see why I didn't build this with a schematic. It literally sits in your way while you're doing stuff, right? So that would have been bad for video. All right. In fact, let's go ahead and unload those. All right. Now you're going to come back, and you are right here, which is there. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's throw down a repeater to carry the signal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. And we're going to put some observers going up to here. Bam. You'll see that I am changing my repeaters. It's a timing thing that works out better with the 1 tick pulse that I'm doing here. In fact, let's examine those because I didn't actually build these towers. So it's literally going back and forth. My repeater down here is set to 2 ticks. This one's set to 2 ticks. Now, this extension line that I put in with another repeater, a repeater is automatically a tick, right? So this is on 2 ticks, 3 ticks, 3 ticks. But because of this, that one's actually on 3 ticks as well, which will give us everything. I don't want any of them on just 1 tick, though, because 1 tick off of an observer will literally just cause the thing to go once. So this would go up and then release it on 1 cycle and then pull it down and release it on the next cycle, right? So we've got all of that. Now let's go top off our bone meal back here. Shouldn't be too bad yet, but we can go ahead and test fire this again. And while that's test firing, I want to get some wool of a new color. Let's do some lime green. I haven't done, no, yes, I have. Let's do some pink. All right. And this is going to be my line that goes over to that to turn it back on. All right. And boom. Yeah, that won't affect anything. Okay, we can see it's off, and now it's TNT. that side blew up, this side launched, and then it blows up. And we got a good whatever on it. Let's see, 1, 2. Oh, wait. No, I want repeaters here, and I'll show you why. It delays everything. If I don't put a delay in right here, it's going to cause huge, ginormous problems. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I figure 8 is what you need. I put in a 9th to be safe. But if you want to run it faster, you can take one repeater out, and you should be just fine. And here I'm going to once again put in this guy. And what this does, this powers this block, which causes this piston to go up. And it's so fast that it converts my signal from this long pulse that these guys are going to create into a single tick, which will cause a release on this guy, right? So we've got that. And we're pretty much golden. What we need now, though, is a start system. All right, which is where we're going to come in and tie into this guy. Let's do off of the back here. All right. Redstone dust. Let's see, will that? Yeah, that'll power. And I need one repeater right here because of our length. And boom. So he's on, and that's in place. So we can unpower this. All right. Now, this is some of the other cool stuff. All right. So that dispenser's getting full. And I could put more dispensers into this if I wanted to. Or not dispenser, I'm sorry, droppers. And that's the one with our bone meal in it. But I don't really have to. I can actually use hoppers. Let's get out a chest and our bone meal. And I'll tell you why here in just a moment after I am done mildly concentrating. So this is where you can refuel your whole system. Now, the thing is, you have to keep this system mostly full, right? As long as you've got 5 stacks of whatever in something, your hopper cannot pull from a hopper above it because it's full. It can't take anything, right? So because of that, I can run this hopper line underneath the hopper line above it, and as long as I don't run out of bone meal, it's not a problem, right? And let's see. Looks like backlog filling something. What am I backlog filling? You're full up to there. Full, full, full now. All right. All right, so completely full. So this is where our bone meal goes. And you can hook up a bone meal farm to this. You just got to run it over here. You can run your hoppers however you need to accomplish that. But if I'm not mistaken, that's all done. So I'm going to flip this switch. This observer is going to move, and it's going to fire off our ignition system. All right, and it goes, boop, and now he's pushed in. And this is running. Oh, come on, give me it. There we go. It pulled out. Now it's firing off this system, which fires everything off. Boom, boom. And you can see he's growing. So this observer saw this observer start to go, oh, there's something going on. And he sent the signal back. And as you can see, I'm running pretty tight margins right here on TNT to starting my next growth cycle. Let's see. And testing, this is an adequate timing. Um, Although it is fairly possible. Okay, so watch this. TNT, TNT, and now we're growing again, right? It is possible if you get like perfect tick timing to blow this machine up with one less repeater here. It doesn't happen often, but it happens. So there we go. Now we have a problem. I am moving this warp stem out here, right? So we have a simple solution for this, and that is going to be to piston it out of the way. All right, so how are we going to trigger that piston? We're going to use an observer. Okay, he's going to come down here, and let's use our wool again. Let's go with white. I know I haven't used white because I never use white. All right, we put a block below and the piston, and we put redstone dust here. So the next time this moves, it'll push this guy up. Oh, come on, grow a tree. Making me impatient. There we go. So it should move, and it pushes up. All right. And then once we get up here, we're going to have the same problem. We're getting close to the top, and things can be explodey. So I personally put in a little wall right here. And I'm going to use basically the same thing to push in, except I'm going to power it slightly differently as all. Right, so piston there with an observer, and we'll use our white again, since this is part of the same system. Redstone dust there. And it's now going to push that extra piece of warp stem that we're dealing with into our system. Now you'll see as I'm going, I'm replacing bits with glass. It is possible for your what do they call it? Nether warp block, whether it's the warped or the crimson, to grow down low. It doesn't actually break the system. I just don't like it aesthetically. In fact, I know it can grow there, it can grow there. All right, so we're covering all of that up. Now we have a fully functioning system. I give you the tree hugger in all of his beautiful derpy glory. All right. The best thing about this is no player interaction. You turn it on. Well, I guess with the exception, you have to throw some bone meal in if you don't put an auto bone meal farm on this. It does chew through some stuff pretty good, but you saw we just turned that out. Oh, hold on. Okay, so let's go ahead and stand here for a moment. In fact, we'll make ourselves a little standing box to collect some items. We'll see what kind of things we're getting. You'll see the vast majority of it is going to be your nether wart blocks. And it doesn't matter if we're talking the crimson trees or the warped trees. In fact, looks like I'm getting about 4 times as much as I am stem. Of course, I've also been growing short trees here at the moment. Well, I hope you learned something interesting. Not just how to build my build, but some of the logic that goes behind it, and how you might be able to start building your own. I know I did point out the Devil's Woodchuck over here, and I am stupid proud of this thing. Let's see. Looks like I did something dumb while I wasn't paying attention, though. All right. Oh, right. Unloading it in the middle of. Anyway. Stuff. Things. Um, but we're not going to build this today. It took long enough to build the tree hugger over here. If you stay till the end of the video, there is a slight tweak that I would suggest, and that's adding another repeater into the line here to increase your ticks a little bit. And the reason is that the 16 ticks is right on the edge of whether or not you're going to grow a tree every time. Adding that extra repeater in with another tick or two can actually increase your rates. Although it's up to RNG and it's really debatable, at least to my testing, which way's better. So you can kind of go either way on it. And as you can see between recordings, I was playing with things. I had an idea that didn't work out that may have blowed up the machine. So this is a rebuild of the arbs and stuff. You could actually, if you're really worried about the circuitry down here, just put down non-explodable blocks. Completely cover this. It's not going to hurt the machine at all. I just like having it wide open because the way it is, it looks like he has arms. So I personally like that. It's dumb. It's dorky. I don't care. It's my machine. It's pretty. But I am debating on whether or not to do a tutorial for the larger farm. Like I said, this one's actually, you'd be better off building 4 of these, probably 3 of these actually, than 1 of those. While this one's cool and everything like that, just because of the overall timing on getting your 4 plants to all grow at the same time, this one actually slows down the process. And it has to. Reason being, there's an interlock system down here that I'd be happy to explain at some point. It's actually really cool how the whole thing works and knows what's going on. But it keeps the TNT from launching multiple times out of sequence. If I didn't have that in here, the whole machine would blow itself up every time. So with that overall setup, I mean, like I said, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But it's not really the most efficient. Doing it this way, substantially better. Slight advantage, you get 4 trees for only 6 lines of these duplicators. If you were to build 4 of these, you'd have to have a total of 8. So, that's kind of a thing. And actually, wow, I'm very impressed on how much my rates increased by adding 2 ticks right there. In fact, you know what? Hang tight for just a minute. I'm going to go run this for an hour, and I'm going to let you know what I collect. All right, testing over. I figure this thing is somewhere in the ballpark of like 800, 850 of our stem every hour. And somewhere, in the 2-stack range of our glow shrooms, which is perfectly adequate for single player play. That's getting into the realm. I'm not sure much more than that if you're going to be able to place all of the blocks that you are farming actively. So I'm calling it good enough. Now, with that, we're going to call it a day. Like I kind of teased, the Devil's Woodchuck here is definitely something I would be happy to go over. If you would like to know more about that, hey, like, comment, subscribe. Though, spoilers, this is the better machine, more bang for your buck kind of thing. It would be faster to build 4 of these. Just saying. Although that one has a lot of really cool features, and if you want to learn some interesting quirks of redstone, the Devil's Woodchuck is definitely something that you'd want. But if you want to see that, hey, like, comment, subscribe, all of that kind of stuff. Let me know about it. And, Other than that, thanks for checking or stopping by, and I really look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye now.